Next, we're going to go to Ron Estes from the great state of Kansas. Mr. Estes, you are up.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kelly, and thank you for all of our witnesses for being here today. You know, Kansans and actually all Americans are rightfully concerned about the gross overreach of the Biden administration and the Democrats in Congress. They recognize for what it really is an invasion of privacy. The Democrats' pursuit to pay for their massive spending is based on the false assumption that everyday Americans are trying to hide something from the IRS. They aren't just going after the wealthy, they're going after working families. My colleagues have asked some excellent questions about the misguided policies and pitfalls of the implementation. So I want to run a couple of hypothetical situations because it's really important to understand what the policies are and how they might affect families and local banks. And Mr. Rosenberger, maybe you could answer this: is, you know, would a student who applies for a federal student loan and receives a portion of that non-taxable student loan directly into the bank account be reported to the IRS based on what you understand? And would the bank know the difference between the student loan and any other inflow?
There is no method at this point to identify different types of government payments. So if the student loan is coming through a government entity, it may be flagged as government payment, but I'm not sure that the proposal says that in particular would be excluded. But also realize that there's two parts to this equation. It's the inflow and the outflow. So it might not be captured on the inflow, but as they use those funds to pay for their schooling, to pay for their school books, to pay for their housing, they would be caught up in the expense side of this equation as well. So certainly I would anticipate that they would be included here.
Yeah. Well, in a similar vein, if they did a home improvement loan and say applied for something $10,000 or more, and I assume they would show up in that. And is there partially a concern as well that people are going to start to limit their small loans because their accounts are going to be reported to the IRS?
Yeah, I certainly think that's possible. I think the Green Book mentioned that loan activity would be included in this gross inflow and outflow report. So would disbursements from a 401k plan. So there's a lot of effect here across a broad array of consumers.
All right. Well, thank you, and I want to thank all our witnesses for being here today. And I'll yield back, Mr. Kelly.